Hello, dear friends. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's live stream on the 23rd of March, 2025. You may be watching this sometime in the distant future. Thank you for being here. I'm hosting daily portrait drawing live streams. I wonder if in the distant future, if I will still be hosting live streams every day. I'm enjoying it very much. It's really great having the practice and having so many great faces to draw. Yesterday, we worked on a portrait of the incredible photographer Rada Sadygova, and I thought it would be nice to draw from one of her photos today. Hello, Cindy. 7 of you are watching live. I see that you're watching, and I would love you to say hello in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, say hello in the replay as well. Let me know if you're following Rada Sadygova yet, because she's just amazing. I love her work so much, and I'm really happy to be working from this portrait. I actually have, there is, in my archive of live videos, there is a I think we do like 10 portraits in 2 hours or something, 10-minute drawing practice, and they're just such great photos. So happy to be drawing another one of Rada's photos. Here is my workspace, and I just want to show you. Hey, Cindy, Kiki, Adam, Leslie, Corinna, so nice to have you here. Look, yesterday was my Shadow Shapes workshop, and it was so much fun. Thank you to everyone who joined. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Yeah, I just love Shadow Shapes, so it was really fun being able to focus, get into it for a couple hours. I'm just, oh, that looked like a nice neutral kind of color. I'll go with that one. Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you for being there. And I've got another workshop coming up in 2 weeks on shapes in Procreate. And I thought from now until then, I could perhaps, at the end of each of my live streams, I could have a look at one of my Procreate portraits. Oh no, don't change color again. Here, stay there. But what I want is to make it darker. So yeah, at the end of this, once I've finished working on this portrait, I'm going to have a look at one of my Procreate portraits with you together. Hola, Lewis. Cindy, you missed it. I hope you had an incredible evening though. Let's start drawing. Interesting. I've got my, what is this called again? Chili red and deep indigo that I had with Raghunath on the left side of this spread. So I'll use those colors again and see how we go. I will set a 10-minute timer, and I don't really expect to be done in 10 minutes, but who knows? Maybe it'll be one where it's just like, oh wow, 10 minutes, that's it. Thank you. Sharpening. I was looking at one of my short form content of my own. Here, 10 minutes, let's go. Say hello in the chat. Ask questions in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I will endeavor to answer your questions, or just chat about random things. What was I about to say? Oh, I thought there was something, but now we draw. Maybe I was just asking you. I don't know. I can ask you now. What have you been doing this weekend? What have you done today? What's the last thing you ate? Yeah, the workshop was cool. It's I like it. It's a format that I enjoy. It's nice being able to hang out with people in Zoom and really get right into the topic and open up for questions. And there were things like questions about color, which I wasn't even really thinking about color at all. But it was really interesting to address some of those questions. And shapes and color is definitely something in the Procreate workshop I'll be getting into a lot more. because that's part of what I love about the digital element. It's just being able to experiment so freely with color and to change color. There's a lot of fun things we can do with that. And how has this will be our final week of March, right? So this has been our shadow shapes month, and I haven't really thought about it much yet, but next month I want to focus on wet media sketches is what I challenged myself to do. So that can be some, maybe there'll be some line work involved, like some loose preliminary drawing, but I really want to sketch with wet media. So watercolor and ink. I don't know how this paper is going to handle it. I think I'm almost halfway into this sketchbook. Yeah, so when I talk about wet media, I'm thinking watercolor and ink wash. There are other wet media, but those are the ones I'm thinking of. So I think that'll be interesting, and there may be some combination of I feel confident in my drawing ability, so I'll probably like start with line work and then do some wet work on top of it. And everyone, of course, who's drawing along, you can do whatever you want. You can use the same media that I use, or you just pick something your own, something that you're happy with exploring, or try something totally different. You can try busting out some really quick oil paintings, or maybe you work digitally. Who here works digitally during these? What pencil am I using? This is a wonderfully sharpened with some knife. This is a chili red Derwent Ink Tense pencil. Thank you for asking, Martina. How many drawings do I get out of each parallel pen cartridge? That depends how much hatching I do and how much how heavy I go on filling the shadow shapes with ink. That is a good question. I remember in the beginning being kind of like surprised by how fast I was going through the ink, because I was filling big areas with ink. And then I realized, because I was using the ink from the pen so fast, I was like, oh, if I want to conserve the cartridge, I could grab a brush, a big flat brush for those really big areas. But there's also something enjoyable about the like the gaps in the hatching and stuff. There's something really nice about using it to hatch. So I can't pin it down to a number, how many drawings I get out of it. But a lot of ink flows through those nibs. So yeah, the Pelikan Brilliant Black ink, which I refill with, which is this water-soluble ink that I've been using most of the time. I think it's fairly inexpensive, at least in Germany. I think it's made here. And this is like a big bottle. They're in different sizes, and I decided to go for the big one, and I've nearly used it up. I've used a couple of small bottles, and now I've got a bigger one. Shadow shapes. We're still working on shadow shapes, and there's such wonderful shadow shapes in this reference. What has been your takeaway so far from this month? So this is open to anyone who's been drawing along on the daily drawings, or perhaps you were even at the workshop yesterday. But what have you got out of this idea of exploring shadow shapes in the past few weeks? I'd love to know if there's been anything new, or it's like, yeah, this is the way I was raised as a child, drawing like this. I've always thought about shadow shapes like this, or if it's totally new, a little bit new, or just good practice, getting back to something that you have explored in the past. That would be really interesting to know. Lewis, watercolor is your favorite medium right now. You are amazing, Lewis. Your watercolors are so cool. And I remember, I think it was sometime last year maybe, that you were like, how about you just do watercolor without drawing first? So I have some of that in mind for my wet media sketches. It'll be interesting. So we'll see how we go. And I do actually have a jar of this carbon ink, which is supposed to be waterproof, which I'm interested in experimenting with. So I wonder how fast it dries to like use that ink and then watercolor on top. That could be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting month. And if you're, yeah, we can exchange notes during the live streams on sketching with wet media. So many cool shapes on this. There's also a bigger composition, and it's such a nice photo. Like, everyone check out Rada's Instagram. And there's a lot of filmed moments, which are really beautiful as well, which give an extra sense of the lived experience of the places that she's traveling in. Martina, the Don't ones, been wanting to try. Been using other German brands, Stedler. Yeah. Don't these ink tense pencils, I've been saying a lot, but I keep using them, and it's still really interesting. Once they are wet, it activates the pigment, and then it stays in place. That's the idea. Once it's dried, it stays where you put it. So that's why it's called ink tense, which is a really interesting idea. And I feel like I keep these live stream portraits pretty brief, but I think there could be really interesting potential for like doing longer pieces with these as well, because the way you can layer it up with them drying and becoming like permanent, I think that is really, really interesting. And I think it would be, a lot of what I do, like a lot of my practice is at the moment, and for years now, has been really quick drawing. And so when I talk about doing a longer piece, like something like an hour, I usually, when I'm filming my tutorials, I would take more time to work on something. But otherwise, the longest things I've been doing recently have been in the live streams. So some of them have been a bit longer. And that's all based on years of practice. But yeah, it would be really interesting because layering is just such a fun way to build up an image. Like, the directness of ink and all of the stuff we're doing in the live streams is quite direct, but the possibility you have when you let something dry, come back to it, layer it up, do another layer, it's so interesting. There's so much that can happen. So yeah, it warrants further exploration with these pencils, because I think there's really interesting potential in what they can do. All right, that is the first 10 minutes. How is everyone doing? Any questions at the 10-minute mark? I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to add some of this deep indigo on top. I like it how it is, just this monochromatic. It's really nice, but just to like deepen, well, you could add another layer of the same color on top of this and like go further. Layering up this one pigment is also like, that would be so cool as well. And to get it to reach level just with the one pencil, to get it as like deep and dark as it goes, that would be cool. But I'm gonna add some of this deep indigo as well. Ooh. No one's told me what they've been doing during the weekend. Adam asked the question. Martina, any other questions? I see a moth fluttering against the window. I was thinking, I don't know who else would be up for this, but we drew Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, a couple of days ago. And Sara yesterday said after drawing him, made her want to rewatch The Matrix. And I was like, what if we did like a Matrix themed week? I was so into The Matrix, and it's really interesting. I'm not sure what like the technicalities are. Like I guess people are drawing and painting from screenshots and stuff, but yeah, obviously I do not own rights to any Matrix images or whatever, but it would be so interesting to work on some portraits from The Matrix. There have been phases when I have been learning to draw. One particular phase, I'm still learning to draw, but when I was really putting in a lot of practice and figuring out a lot of stuff for the first time, I was watching Game of Thrones, and I would just grab screenshots all the time, or I would pause it and do a quick sketch, or I even tried doing like live sketching, because sometimes they would have these lengthy scenes where it's like this person talking for a while and then it would cut between a couple people, and it's like, oh, they're going to settle in for a conversation, and then I might try and do some really quick sketches. And the great thing about working from a lot of like film reference is that people have already put so much thought and attention into the lighting setup, the way the characters look. Like there's so much to explore in the cinematic world, and I like also just like drawing like this kind of stuff, street photography from around the world. Oh, it's so good. I really enjoy seeing these faces from all over the world, and we will occasionally draw the odd celebrity together. But yeah, it's interesting, like this idea of time traveling with drawing. And since I like thinking back to things that any of us have experienced at different times, but particularly as I was thinking about my experience of The Matrix and how I was so into it, I just thought, oh, that could be an interesting idea to like do some more Matrix themed portraits. So I don't know how many people drawing along are interested in The Matrix, but that's just a thought that I had today. And I thought it was really interesting, Hesh asking about if I would take the blue or the red pill. And I just thought about it so much afterwards, and it was like, wow, it's such a big, like, philosophical question, really. And it would be really interesting to get into that conversation with some people. And because I have a, like, reflexively think I want to know truth, but I was also wondering, like, oh, what if, like, what truth and realization and presence is possible to experience within the simulated world of The Matrix? And it's just like, I think it opens up so many interesting questions. This is about 15 minutes now. I kind of like where it's at. Nicole votes for The Matrix. Cindy would be into The Matrix. Elizabeth has Stedler and Inktense pencils. Inktense wins hands down for juicy pigment. That's it. That's something I found with... I've had watercolor pencils in the past, and juicy pigment. That is a really good description, because there's something about the intensity. They're called ink tense, like intense. The vibrancy of the pigment is really exciting. And I feel like the watercolor pencils that I had in the past were much more subdued. So yeah. But I'm also really into using what you have. I actually quite rarely get new art supplies. A lot of things I have not tried out. I was looking at the Fude pen and like almost ready to buy, and I was like, do I need another pen? It would be really interesting. But I have so much stuff that I enjoy using, and I need to keep using and need to use it up or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but I'm slow to purchase. And I had a whole phase where everything I did was about making your own art supplies, and I really still love that idea. And I actually had these pencils for quite a while, and I hadn't been using them. And then I kind of rediscovered them, and it has been really fun. I think in this sketchbook has been the most I've worked with these pencils in a long time. Okay, I like this a lot, how it is at the moment, and I'm not sure if I want to touch it with water again or just leave it as it is. Leslie never saw The Matrix, but you're open. Some people have not seen The Matrix. Oh, so I'll take a photo and just see, because I something about this drawing right now, just how it is, I like. And I know that once I, like with Frida Kahlo, the first Frida, I hatched in the shadows, and then I wet them, and then I was like, there was something about maybe it's the transparency, it's the red shining through the hatch marks, which is really kind of cool. But I'm going for it. Definitely deepens those shadow shapes. Wow, it gets really, really intense. If anyone's interested in joining my mentorship, the next round will be starting in April. It's nearly April. And I would love to work with you. If you could imagine that having regular meetings with me is something that you would enjoy, those who've been at the workshops or know me from Tuesdays know a bit of the experience of just sitting together, being able to ask direct questions and stuff. But yeah, opening up for the second round, and there's information on my website, dylansara.com/mentorship. But if you just go there, you can find the mentorship page. And I'll be writing to my mailing list this week about it, so hop on my mailing list if you're not already. That was the second 10-minute block. The mentorship is an experience of accountability and close community, to be learning together with other people and to keep coming together. So there's one-on-one calls with me. There is there's group calls. There is the possibility for asking questions between the calls and interacting with each other. And I'm not going to put the timer on now. I'm just going to see if like adding a bit more of this red, a bit more hatching to bring back some of that. Or it's also just like deepening the richness of those shadow shapes even more. I think the mentorship is pretty cool. I myself participated in a mentorship, which I really felt accelerated my understanding and growth, because you can practice and practice and practice and practice, and sometimes just having someone say, that's interesting, have you thought about looking at it like this, or what if you tried this for a while or focused on this, and just the experience of getting to know someone over the course of weeks and months, and getting to know your work and being familiar with each other, that there are maybe insights that can be come to together which just would take longer to reach on your own. And that thing of being able to meet up together and be in this learning experience together. Everyone's doing different work and have different things that they're aspiring to do, but there's a lot shared in the experience. And so it's really interesting to be in that group context, sharing together. And I'm really happy to be able to offer it. So anyone who is interested, please get in touch. Check out the frequently asked questions or common questions and answers on the mentorship page on my website. I'm going to stop now, and let's have a look at a Procreate portrait. Adam says, okay, letting my parallel pen ink dry. Maybe that's why I go through it so fast. So much I need to let it dry. Like this. How fast do you move your hand? Like, I know if you do really slow strokes, like so much ink flows out. And if the strokes are a bit quicker, like I noticed can see this from yesterday. Can see there's like a kind of transparency to the stroke of the inks here. This is not a parallel pen, but another calligraphy pen. And if you're moving faster, kind of less ink comes out. But if you go really slow, then a lot of ink comes out. It takes longer to dry. So that could be it. Yeah, and look, this one, was this parallel pen or calligraphy pen? But you can see here as well, this thing of like, there are gaps, and it's kind of irregularities within the darkness. So that may be something. There's an interesting observation. The letting it dry is like how fast you move the pen actually determines how much ink flows through it. Not fully confident yet. It takes time and practice to get fully confident. How many drawings do you feel like you've done to empty a cartridge? Do you have a gauge on that yet? I'm going to bring up a Procreate portrait. So thank you, Rada, for this wonderful face to draw. It was so cool. I like this result. I like how Rada and this person are together on the page, and Morpheus is over here, which is also nice. And now I'm going to have a look at a Procreate portrait with you. Which one? Maybe this one. So this was from, I followed along, so I taught some classes in the Sketchy Art School 30 Faces 30 Days Procreate edition. I taught 3 classes, and all of the other portraits of the month I also drew along with. So and the way that I work in Procreate is it's all about shapes. So I hope you can see this. But it's all drawn with outline. It's drawn with shapes. It's a very interesting way of working, and something that I'll be sharing on the 5th of April in my Procreate Shapes workshop. So Adam said, you've always loved the shadow shape phase. I've always been interested in them, but didn't really focus on them. This facilitated that for me, kept me focused. So glad to hear that. That's very cool. Nicole says shadow shapes has helped me focus on seeing and drawing the shadows better. Yeah. Martina says, this is so cool, Gaia. Kiki, the drawing hand emoji. Thank you so much. Anyone who's made it to the end of this live stream, please put your drawing hand emoji in the live chat. Or if you made it all the way to the end of the recorded video, which there is an alarming drop-off rate of how many, if you see something that says like it may be 150 views, but there's this steep drop-off curve. Like people start watching and then they just click to the next video. The amount of people who make it to the end of these videos is few. And if you've made it to the end, please put a drawing hand emoji in the chat so I know. And I would love you for it. Kiki's got to go. Cindy. 3 to 4 drawings and you've used up a cartridge. That's impressive. That's probably a lot of ink on your paper. Adam enjoyed this one. Definitely a challenge with the super high contrast. Yeah. Nicole got 10 A4 drawings out of 1 parallel pen cartridge. Interesting. Hi, Maya. Did I test the sketchbook app? I did. Not really happy with my results yet, but I did test it. Wait, I'll just take this down. I think I was finger painting with it. What have I got? Sketchbook. Yeah, finger painting. So I just wanted to see if I could do a similar kind of thing with the sketchbook app, and you can totally do it. The workflow is a bit different than with Procreate, but yeah, all about shapes and layering shapes, selecting shapes, and I didn't spend long on this, but you can see it's capable of doing the same thing. So I would keep working on this and build it up. The layering is different. Like I will have multiple shapes all on the same layer, and here it's like each shape is creating a new layer, but maybe we can merge them. That'd be interesting to find out. But yeah, so the sketchbook app, if you don't have an Apple device, but you're still interested in coming to the Procreate workshop, then you could use the sketchbook app. And there was another one that someone mentioned as well. It's a very basic tool, actually, the freehand selection tool. And if I have a look here, you can just, this is quite simple. This was a brief value study. And what you need to be able to do to work in this way is you have your, here I have freehand selection tool selected, and then you have your reference alongside, and then it could be you draw your shape that you've recognized and you grab your color, and it might be like this, and then I can drag from over here, drop that color in here, and make the layer transparent. And that's basically it. That's what you have to be able to do. You have to be able to make a shape, fill it with a color. That's all you have to be able to do. So if you have an app that does that, you don't have to be using Procreate. I just use Procreate most and find it very intuitive for me to use. And there are so many fun things you can do with digital. So that's, if you're interested, but the Procreate thing was kind of like, nah, I don't know, I don't have an Apple device. Is this going to be worth coming along to this workshop? There are other apps that have a similar way to work, and this being one of them. So it's different. Where was it? Here, lasso tool. Here in the selection of the sketchbook app, there's a lasso tool, and I can go like this, and then I can go to the paint bucket tool, which is a little bit different here. I can paint bucket tool, do that. Oh, it's already transparent. Oh, it's on the same layer. I was just saying about it not being different layers, but it is. It's on the same layer. So here, you can do the same thing. So it's like an extra step of selecting the paint bucket tool, but Sketchbook app, you can do the same. You can work the same as with Procreate. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, Fred. I'm glad you like my Procreate. It's fun. It's a very different way to work, a different way of looking at things, and that is something that I enjoy doing. Just looking at things differently, and come and join my live stream tomorrow to see another one of my Procreate portraits at the end. I'll make that a thing, and I'll start posting some of them as well, so you can kind of have a look at some of my previous work and see if you're interested in coming along. Thank you, Rada Sadygova. You are incredible. Your photos are breathtaking, and I enjoy seeing them so much. Thank you to all of you for coming and drawing along. I would love to see your work. So tag me. You can also tag Rada. I saw, Lewis, that Rada shared your portrait of her, and she also shared mine to her story, so that was nice. So I'm sure if you tag Rada, she'd be really happy to see them. And join the Discord. So Silas, you've come right at the end, but it's so nice to see you. Just pop into the chat. Thank you for joining. I can send you a private message to let you know we're live streaming if you're interested, but no pressure. Don't feel like I'm pushing you into anything. But here's a link to Discord. People are already sharing their sketches from today, which is so cool to see, and I can't wait for tomorrow's live stream. I like drawing, and I like drawing with you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming right at the end, Silas. Elizabeth says, a YouTube tutorial short series on refilling cartridges for pilot parallels and sailor feuds would bring an audience. I think they're getting more and more popular for art as well as calligraphy. That's a good idea. That could be... I was on a couple of websites looking at sailor feud pens, and I was just like, nah, do I really need? And I just didn't. I backed up. I was like, I have pens. Do I need this other pen? But I could say it's for research purposes, and I'm filming a video to inform people about the process of doing these things. So maybe I will do such a video. Elizabeth, thank you for the suggestion. Choib Sum, hello man, thank you. That's a cute kid in your profile pic, and I'm glad you like my drawings. Thanks Adam, thanks everyone. Always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing your icons in the chat tomorrow, and I